And yeah, each of them floods a lot. Like there's flood zone A in each of these. And some areas of each neighborhood don't flood as much, but they generally still have experience with flooding.
As a part of this project, students went into these 3 neighborhoods to ask people how they feel about their own personal vulnerability, their coping capacity, and then their confidence in their ability to do something about flooding. We also asked respondents about their attitudes towards adaptation and possibility of relocation. We really wanted to find out firsthand how residents feel about these considerations instead of relying only on secondary data to explain their flood risk.
We're looking at Grandview and Fox Hill, Buck Row and Salt Pond, and then Phoebus and Fort Monroe. It's really interesting to see links between people. One person will be like, oh, in this storm, and then you'll have a whole bunch of other people who have these crazy experiences from the same storm. Or they'll be like, oh, go over to this area because it floods really bad. It's just really interesting to hear people's stories.
A lot of people will either move into houses or choose to elevate their houses. A lot of people have sandbags that they kind of place in appropriate areas. People kind of plan for worst case scenario. If they hear something's coming, they'll get the food, water, supplies that they need to, I guess, prepare for it, or they'll move their cars to higher locations. It's surprising how many people will say they won't move for anything. How many people say that in the event of storms or flood events like happening recurringly, that they will, for no reason, move at all.
So we found out that many survey participants had experience with school closures and delays and also difficulty to commute to work due to flooding, and that was followed by business closures and also house and yard damage. And I think this is very important because it really captures impacts of recurrent flooding on people's livelihoods. There is also a growing need to understand what other problems people might experience that are less measurable or visible, such as inconvenience or interruptions in their daily routines due to flooding.